bravo. Beautiful playing. Very beautiful playing.
Thank you.
So, just a few things, and some of it's just my personal opinion. It's definitely not that something is right and something is wrong. I mean, if you, this is one of the most popular movements written for cello, and when you listen to recordings and other performances, tempo, for example, is all over the map. People play it faster, people play it slower, people play it lighter. So I love the fact that there's, you know, for lack of a better word, there's a lot of chocolate in what you're playing. You know? I think that's good, right? And it's has always, well, two things have always influenced me. One is the Rachmaninoff metronome marking, which I don't know what edition you're playing from. You're not really that fast, and I like the stretch that you're playing with. But Rachmaninoff actually wrote 46 to the quarter note here. Yeah, just how does one interpret that? Because, but I think what we want to think about is the fact that Rachmaninoff, besides being a great composer, was actually an amazing performer, right? A big worldwide international career as a pianist as well as, when I look at what composers write in the score, I always take them seriously, for sure. But those that are on stage and know what it is to perform, I think I pay even more attention, you know. Just to let the cat out of the bag, for example, the next piece on the program, the Shostakovich Sonata. So Shostakovich was a very good pianist, you know, but not successful as a performer. And when you read about Shostakovich, he was kind of dry and literal in the way he performed his own music. And it, you know, like one of my least favorite recordings of the Shostakovich Sonata is Shostakovich playing the piano. But here I think, and the other thing to know about Rachmaninoff, which I'm sure you do, is that he fought his entire life fighting depression. And at the time that he wrote this piece, he was coming out of 3 years of very serious depression, where he was really unable to write or work very much. I'd like you to think, just in terms of interpretively, we don't have to get it all right now, but just like over the long term, that this piece is so often played sort of in a super appassionata style, like right from the first note. And it certainly has the intense, passionate moments. But I think there's actually something deeper in it than just pure passion. And if you can look for this, you know, when I was studying with Piatigorsky, he used to talk about that. He liked it. Of course, he influenced me hugely, and he liked it slow and grand. And he talked about, he said, you have to discover the soul of Rachmaninoff, right? So I think that's sort of the next step for you. So, like if you just take those first few notes, and I hate asking you to change anything because it sounds gorgeous, you know, but look for something that has some sadness in it. You know, one of the hardest, the reason this piece is played fast or faster a lot is because it also has a lot of line in it, right? So, like those first notes need to lead, right? And so there's always a direction in the piece. One of the hardest things to do in music is to play slow and large, and within that to still have direction. Right? That's what I'd like you to look for. So let's try even one just a little bit slower. See if you can fill everything out. See what it feels like. Right? Very good. And only because this is a cello class, I'm just going to ask you to give up that lovely solo and just play the bar before he comes in. Great, great, beautiful. So I already like that better. I think there's some longing in that maybe was missing the first time. Now what do we do with, speaking of longing, what do we do with the long notes? P, 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 da, dee. You diminuendo on both of them. So, you know, whenever something is repeated, maybe you, when it's possible not to do it the same way, what if you just keep open chest and sustain all the way out to that end of that first B flat and connect it into the second half of the phrase? And then really beautiful what you did when you go down to the G and start more. I love that, yeah. So maybe you can prepare that color, as you did. You prepared it with a release of the B flat. Yeah. All right. Just hang on. Just open-chested. Hold on. Here's the first release. Good. Great, very good. So the difficulty of the phrase right here is the cross from the D string to the A string, right? And so what you did is totally valid. You kept the C on the D string and then shifted. Yeah, but matching D string to A string is difficult. And you have a big hand also. So let's try, if you stay on fourth finger C and it's preparing for the A string sound, at least vibrate. You didn't vibrate it at all, right? Yes. And then you vibrated like crazy on the D, right? Yes. So the C needs to develop so that the D makes sense, right? But with the size of your hand, I think, there's a number of fingerings here, but if on the 2/8 notes, if you did on the B flat, A flat, just do a 2 shift back.
On the B flat, A.
Right, now you can reach, right, because yeah, so that's the other way to do it, and it's a big stretch. But I think the C belongs to the rest of the phrase, so I think if the C intensifies by going to the A string, it's even more thrilling. You want to do that second entrance? Hang on. Crescendo, crescendo. Yeah, good. That's also possible. That little stuff, but that fingering doesn't totally apply. On the 2/8, yeah. So I mean, and isn't there a retard on those 2/8? Yes. Yeah. So that sort of becomes whimsical or looking back. It's a release of all of this, right? You might try a harmonic D. Yes, you could make that work, or you could stay on the A string, yeah. Or you could play the D, C on the A string and then play the last B flat. But I think to cross in the middle of the 2/8 note sounds kind of weird. Yeah, let's go on. Yeah, no, actually, I want, we don't even need to, I want to work technically on this, so I know since I taught you for so many years that you have trouble with this stroke, so I was looking for it, and you're still having trouble. Yeah, pa, 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 in the triplet, could you take one of those? Right, that sounds pretty good. So when you played it through, it almost sounded slurred, so what am I doing?
The index finger.
To get that impulse as it's pressure release with the index finger. Yeah, he's very specific about that, and it's so Russian, isn't it? Ya pa pa pi, right? And it also kind of when you can get kind of gravitas into that stroke, that also brings us more to this sense of maybe there's some suffering or melancholy. You want to play through this next section? Any place that's convenient. Yeah. Yeah, do it more. Yeah. See, I'm sitting 3 feet away from you, and I can hear it, but hardly. Can you get more? Yeah. Right. Or how about those? Are those legato? Right. Yeah. Like exploit it. Ya, pa, pa, pi, pa, pa. Like, love that feeling. It's actually one of the great feelings of the bow arm on the cello. Once you get it, you know, yeah, it moves people. Yeah. Okay, last time. We'll go on. Wait, we don't need to go on with this. You were playing great. Let me just look at your score for a second. Oh my God. Oh, I should turn this around, and it looks like this score was attacked by a serial killer.
It's a lot of red.
Yeah, a lot of red covering up the notes. Want to flip the page for me? I don't want to touch your. Okay. Yes. So when we get to the big climax, I love your bowing. That was really good. I think that the retard on the 4th beat that you run out of bow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after ba 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 ba. So yes. No. Da da down bow and a whole bow for the E flat.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
That way you can really stretch it.
Sure.
Okay. We're going to do that in a second, but now let's just do the next passage,
sure.
Which maybe for me was your only really weak moment, mm-hmm. Right? So just play a little bit of that so everybody knows where we are. Right, yeah. So there's 2 things going on here. One is that impulse with the index finger again, P-da, pa. Yeah, but then, and what's the dynamic? Pianissimo, yeah. You were really pumped up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So and you know she's got the melody, right? So this is a beautiful obligato to the piano, but I don't think anybody even knew the melody was in the piano. You were playing so loud, right? So just play the pianissimo, and then we'll go back and connect it. Right, yeah, it's pretty good. You could probably put a little bit more air in it. It's very centered, which is good. When it's centered, the sound will separate from the piano and we'll hear it. You don't have to worry about being heard, you will be heard. He wrote it beautifully, right? You want to try it a little bit lighter even? Can you do it even softer? You don't have to come over the fingerboard. You can be down here, but just yeah, got a very suspended feeling. Right. Yeah. Beep, pa, da, pa, pa, da, pa. Now legato. Ya, da, dee, ya, da, da. Take out the. Right. Do it one more time. That's it. And that should have just a little bit of its own shape, maybe a little arc up and a little bit arc, but really subordinate. Okay, so let's go back and do the pa 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 pa. Say. Yeah, yeah, and be careful when you're vibrating like crazy on that B flat that you don't go sharp. Yeah, yeah. Good. Okay. Good. Yeah. Now we're getting there. It's after all of this passion, it's hard to find the tempo again. So that's the other thing that makes this work. So pa pi pi pa pa pi pa pa da pi pi, and you are also responsible for finding our opening tempo, right? I think if there's more stretch, milk that, like take all the time in the world there. Do it one more time. So I'm sorry, after pop, pop, feel the middle of the beat. Less active, just a memory. Okay, great, yeah. That's the idea. You have to work that out a little bit. Now, I mean, I can hear you from here. I'm not sure how the balance was out there, but you did it pretty well, but you were over the fingerboard. So if you can find the same thing a little closer to the bridge, I don't think there'll be any problem being heard. Yeah. Do we have time just to do the end of the movement, or should we? How about just the last? Let's see. Yeah, that's probably a good spot to start.
The recap?
No, later, because we don't have time.
This is the second fortissimo. And then
Yeah. How about just from around here? Yeah.
second to last.
Yeah, that would be good. Does that work? coming in up bow. Do your arpeggiation. Now you'll be able to change the bow now. 2, 3, 4, finish. That's why you want to take the extra bow, right? So you don't cut that, because it's such a wonderful feeling so you could have, I know I didn't give you much help there in instructions, but you can use that extra bow to come in further. Then you've got room to really hold that just out forever, because it's a memorable moment. You played great. Thank you. Yeah. Bravo. Very good. Yeah.